Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, so just got through watching as much of the Clippers Suns games as I could watch. Started late, so that's what I mean by that. But honestly, Russell Westbrook played great, but the Clippers and Terrence Mann and those guys, they just couldn't do enough because they didn't have Kawhi, didn't have PG, and won't be having those guys anytime soon. I told you guys what I think of the Clippers and what they should do. I've heard other panels, everybody saying the same thing, man. The Clippers are in the end of the road here. You got to give credit to their team overall for being able to weather the storm in a playoff game at home. They had their runs, but they couldn't defend that Suns team at all. So I'm pretty sure they'll be getting out of here in Game 5. And after that, Steve Ballmer, he can do whatever he wants to do. The man's got, the world on his fingertips. But at the end of the day, in the basketball, in the NBA, if you don't have young assets, you don't have a whole lot. And so I don't think the ceiling for this team from here is much higher than what it is right now. They'll make the playoffs if they come back with the same team, maybe retool a little bit. Terrence Mann, I like him taking a step forward next year. But honestly, if I'm trying to do anything for the Clippers, I'm probably just resetting the entire thing, just like I said yesterday. Nothing's changed after this game, I'll tell you that much. So that's really what I wanted to say, man. Shout out to Westbrook. I think he walked out of there with over 35 points. I'm pretty sure it was over 35. He was hitting shots. I don't think I've ever seen him be that hot in Staples Center, Crypto.com Arena, any other name of that building. He just looked really, really good in these last two games. And I just wish that he would have had as much confidence and been able to kind of have more freedom to be himself here as a Laker, and we would have had those type of performances out of him as well. But most of those shots he attempted tonight, he would brick for us regularly. So it was just a little frustrating to see it. But this just goes back to what I always say about the Lakers. It's a different energy when you come here. It's different expectations, and guys cower or cripple to the expectations, or whatever the word would be. They just don't meet that expectations a lot of times, and they fail. But they put on a Clipper uniform, and all of a sudden they turn into Steph Curry. So that's what I see there. It's a bit frustrating as a Laker fan, because it's like you're in the same building with better talent on our team, but none of that. Anyway, that's where I'm at with that, man. Hopefully the Los Angeles Lakers can win our game coming up. They're going to clear off the floor, clear out everybody, and then flood in all the Lakers stuff, and we'll be playing in about 3 hours on the same gym. Hopefully we can have more success in their team. And so that's really what it is to say, man. I just wanted to just comment on that. The Clippers are down 3-1. Kawhi Leonard is going to already be ruled out for the next game and most likely the rest of the playoffs, from what I understand. He's dealing with some off-the-court stuff that I don't really know if it has anything to do with what's going on here. You know what I mean? That's what comes to mind. They just released information on his sister in the sentence. She's been given a life sentence for murder, unfortunately. So, that might have something to do with what is on his mind and what might have triggered him into wanting to just call it a season. You never can tell. But in situations like these, where you see a guy drops 1 million points in 2 straight games, and then all of a sudden he's out for the rest of the playoffs without no real injury that's been announced, or any real thing that you've seen in a game that would bring him out of the game or nothing, he just walks off the court fine and never comes back again. Like, that's the type of stuff that I just can't invest in if I'm a fan. If I'm Ballmer, I can't invest in that. All the times I sit up here and talk about how Kawhi chose wrong, but we dodged a bullet big time, Laker Nation, because we did not want any of these problems that Ballmer's had over the last 5 years with none of the rings, no rings. We can get no rings for that. And if we would have had a third of our cap wrapped up in those dudes, we wouldn't have had no rings either. So I just want to acknowledge that as well. And maybe I was upset at how he went about it, but I'm definitely not upset at the outcome. We did better. So that's what there is to say, man. Prayers out to Kawhi's family. Obviously, the situation with his sister ain't nothing minor. Nothing minor at all. But at the same time, the team that he plays for needs him to play. And sometimes life happens and it shakes you loose, but not in the playoffs. Not in the playoffs. But I understand that he's dealing with the knee, so that's always the reason. But, you look at that story and then you look at him not playing, and you just can't separate the two. So you just, prayers out once again. But it feels good to be on my side, man. As a Laker fan, I keep telling people, you can be a Clipper fan if it makes you feel better, but you really don't seem to make any sense. Because if you someone from Los Angeles, Clippers ain't never done nothing for you, and they keep having situations like this come about. And every time you root for them at the end of the season, you have moments like this. Every single year. I've been on this earth for 38 years, man. If I would have rooted for the Clippers, I'd have never been feeling no different than this right now all the days of my life. And then all I got to do is look over at another team in the same city, and they got championships to make up for just about all of that time. And you chose the loser team. And that's what you want to do. So that's how I look at Clipper fans, man. I don't understand y'all, especially the ones from LA. If you're from a different city, I don't know. I'm not really there when it comes to that. But as it pertains to people in this city, and you look at the Lakers and see all that winning, and then you look at the Clippers, see all that losing, and you say, I'm going to go with the red. It's just, you got a weird psychology to me, buddy. Something wrong with you. I'm just being honest. I've always felt that way, and I mean it too. There's something very wrong with you. So y'all go ahead and enjoy that losing y'all doing. Hopefully my team can have more success as usual. And yeah, it's good to see y'all down. That's really it, man. I ain't had nothing else to say to the Clippers. You know, it's one of those situations where when we last lost to them, which is happening a lot lately, unfortunately, I didn't really have a lot of bravado for them. Because we played so bad. We played so bad that it wasn't really a whole lot to say. But they're one game away from elimination. And, you know, it always pans out that way, man. No matter what's going on, at the end of the day, we're always going to one-up them. They can beat us 100 times in the regular season. We'll beat them 100 times in the championships and trophies. Because they ain't never going to be in the championship to meet us anywhere near that. But you know how that goes. And I look at them and everything they do, they trying to derive from us. Their old coach is one of our old players. We drafted Ty Lue. Their old GM, the guy, the one who's running everything, that's also one of our old players. We had him for a million years. It's like, y'all don't do nothing without having us involved in it, whether it be your plans for attacking the field or your plans for attacking us. It's always Laker first, championship somewhere down the distant path of priorities. And that's why real fans in Los Angeles don't respect you. They got to be people who hate themselves or people who just want to root for the underdog and just have a complex for loving the wounded dog. Like, those are the only people who have any Clipper love. Like, there ain't no other reason to love the Clippers unless you bought into the marketing nonsense of the early 2000s when they got Blake Griffin and started jumping over Kias. Like, if you bought into that, you were a little kid when you bought into that, my condolences to you, but it's not too late to get on the right side. If you look up, you'll see 17 banners in that same building. Do you know why? Because another team won those banners while they were sitting there losing every single year on purpose in some cases. Not caring enough to do anything for the team, just writing it off as a tax write-off and asking them LA fans to pay for the tickets every single year. Pay for this, pay for that, go to the LA Sports Arena, pay for this, pay for that, and the team would never be good enough. He would just pocket the money and go on about their way. Like, how am I supposed to fall in love with a team like that? Owner was racist, didn't like black folks, had history of treating people funny and poor. I'm supposed to go toward that for any reason at all? Come on, man. Like I said, there's only a couple Clipper fans out here, and they're the ones that bought into everything when Blake Griffin was jumping over Kias, or people that just want to root for losers, for which they're in the right place. So that's what I got to say, man. That's it. BDO 44. I thank you all for watching.